What's up, everybody? Tried doing a video earlier today. Had the mic muted the whole time. So, doing it again. So I am doing one of the new songs from the Field Medic album. This one does not have an official video. I would love to see it get one, but we'll see. I'm doing just the audio of it for now. This is I Had My Fun / Back to the Start. It's probably my favorite song on the album. It's between this one and I Had a Dream That You Died, I believe. I think those are my two favorites. Gonna get into it here in a second, but before I do have my coffee, although I have no milk, so just espresso and sweet cream. Leaves something to be desired, but it's better than nothing. I could have no coffee, and then what? So two things. One, I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who likes music and, tries to be honest in my reviews. I know a little music theory, but I am not a professional. And then part two is please don't be a dick. You may not like the song. You may not like my review of it. You may not like me just in general. Something about my face just puts you off. That's okay. I don't mind disagreements, but let's just try to keep it respectful. All right. I try to be really respectful in these reviews, and I would ask that you be respectful in return. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. This is I Had My Fun / Back to the Start by Field Medic from the album Grow Your Hair Long If You Want to See Something That You Can Change. If you're wanting to see something that you can change.
I try to lead with love, but I hurt everyone that gets close enough to show me that they care. I cry alone in my room or out back with my finger down my throat, expelling shame I can't bear. Every day I say I'm done till I see that setting sun, but tonight I'm gonna fight white knuckle. I lost my passion and my looks, my stomach's turning like a brook. I told my best friend I wanted to buy a gun. I don't know how I wound up here. Feels like I lost so many years. Spend all my time saying sorry to everyone. Sorry. I don't know how I wound up here. The smallest thing brings me to tears, and once they're gone I am completely numb. I don't know how I wound up here. I resent the insight of life experience. All these lessons only bring me harm. All these battles only leave me scarred. Back to the start. Oh, how I long to go back to the start.
I really love that song. Now, it's a couple things I love about that song. One, I love the intro, right? I love the banjo. Let me be clear. It may not be a banjo, but I think it's a banjo. It could be, I mean, it could be what, a mandolin maybe? Could just be an effect. But it sounds like a banjo that they bring in. I really think that's pretty. It adds another dimension to the song. And musically, I love the song. I think it's very, very nice musically. But the main thing I think is the lyrics, and I think that's kind of always been true for Field Medic. He's a fine musician. He's a good guitarist. He programs his own drum tracks and stuff. He's a good musician, but it's mostly, I think, a vehicle for the lyrics, right? I think that it's probably something that he has a hard time turning off is the writing, and so you figure out ways to put music to it. And the lyrics on this one are really good, really thoughtful, really. I mean, they're sad, right? They're sort of plaintive, right? But they're very relatable to, I think, a lot of people. A couple different lines I wanted to point out. I don't know how I wound up here. Right, this whole album is about battling with alcoholism and sobriety, right? There are other themes, so I don't want to say every single song is just about that, but the majority of the songs, the majority of the impetus to write them was the battle with getting sober and then staying sober and what that looks like, what that feels like. And a lot of people, I know specifically several people who during the pandemic, which seems to have been a particularly hard time for Kevin, a lot of people had a really hard time during the pandemic, especially with alcohol and drug use, because you're home all day, whether you're working from home or you're laid off or you quit your job so you can stay home and stay out of the streets and be safe. And nobody notices if you're drinking when you get up. And for a while, it's fine. It's like, yeah, it's 9:30. I'm going to start my day with a little, just with a shot, right? Just get a little buzz on because there's nothing to do today. And it progressively, it becomes more and more of a way that you're coping with the stress and the uncertainty of, will it ever end? Will these lockdowns, which we never had a real serious lockdown in America. We didn't. No matter what anybody thinks, we didn't. But some people took it very seriously and did it for themselves, right? They were staying at home. They weren't going out. They weren't seeing anybody. They weren't seeing their parents. They weren't seeing their friends. And credit to them, right? Because that really is the right approach to take with a virus that was that contagious. But it is hard on people. Sometimes the right decision is also full of problems, right? And when you're a musician, when you're counting on touring and selling merch and playing shows, and not just touring to make money, but also, for a lot of people, touring is kind of like therapy. Going out to play shows, being able to talk to people after shows, seeing your friends, doing that sort of stuff. That's a very big part of people's lives. And now you just don't know when it's going to come back. Tours keep getting canceled. Things keep getting pushed. You keep getting stuck at home. And a lot of people found out that the amount of alcohol they were drinking before the pandemic became a problem during the pandemic. And it's hard to figure out what the fuck happened. Why am I here, right? And a lot of this album is, taking responsibility for your own actions, figuring out, right? He in the line, spend all my time saying sorry to everyone, right? Realizing that the shit you did or the way you treated people when you were in your addiction it has damaged your relationships. Whether it's like people just don't want to talk to you anymore, or whether it's you have done things, broken things, you know, that like you crashed somebody's car, stuff like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know his story. I don't know what was going on, how his relationships got fractured, but it's a huge part of dealing with addiction is picking your head up and realizing I was causing a lot of problems. And then, you know, a couple of the more depressing, I guess. I don't really want to use that word, but a couple of the more introspective lines. You know, told my best friend I wanted to buy a gun. I had my fun till my fun turned into humiliation and a suicide scare. That happens. You get to the point where you don't see a way out, right? There is no way for me to deal with what I'm dealing with. There's no way for me to overcome it and get my life back together. And I don't feel like there's a way to do that. And so maybe, you know, maybe I'll just check out. And that's a real impulse. Not to get too serious, but I've dealt with suicidal ideation for many years, and ever since I was in high school. And I've had a few therapists in that time, and at least one of them has told me that, and this is a useful perspective, right? The thought of suicide is not in and of itself a bad thing. It's not dangerous by itself. Now, if you start making plans, if you start taking steps, then you really need to see somebody. You really need to talk to somebody. But the idea of using it as a coping mechanism to think no matter how bad things get, right? I can handle it right now. But if things get worse, I have a way out. It can help you cope a little bit with what you're going through if you just think, I have an option. I'm not going to use it, but it's there. It's there if I need it. And then you just find out that you don't need it, right? You just keep going. I had a particularly bad night in college that you know, most of the people I knew in college, most of the people I know now, they don't know about that story. And I'm not necessarily going to tell it here, but I did have a night where I thought that I might not make it to the next day. And clearly, I did. Or I was brought back to life, which would make me way cooler and would really mean that you should subscribe to this channel, because I'm the first YouTuber to come back from the dead. So definitely want to subscribe to that guy, right? Yeah, I really love this song. It's a great closer. It reminds me a little bit of Henna Tattoo, right? And that's one of my favorite all times as well. Beautiful song, beautiful album. Go buy it. Go give him money. You know, streams and Spotify and views on YouTube, they're all well and good. They show that the interest is there, but what he needs is money. So go give him money. I need to get I'm actually waiting. I'm waiting to see if new merch is coming for like the tour. But I have a couple things in my cart, and you'll be seeing a new shirt on the channel sometime soon. So that is my promise to you. So just stay tuned to see what it is. You know, like and subscribe. That helps me out, makes me feel good about myself. Go check out his other stuff. Go, like I said, give him money. Go subscribe. Go listen to the album. It is very beautiful. Follow him on Twitter. You know. Go see him on tour. He's not coming really anywhere close to where I am, unfortunately, on this tour. But you will be you'll be blessed if you get to go see him. So go check out his tour dates. Some shows are low on tickets. Some shows are sold out, which is excellent. Some shows are still available. So if you get the opportunity to see him, you should absolutely do that. That'll do it for this one. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe out there. Drink lots of water and be nice to each other.